in the name of Jesus Christ. Everlasting reality, we thank you for today. We thank you for the people that have come out today from the respective local government to this very training. We thank you for the organizers of this very program. We pray, Almighty God, that your presence will be with us within the period that we're going to stay here. Lord, we know that you have a purpose for this very program. We pray against every power that will hinder your plans, both in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Somebody just pick it up and just keep it around in case we need to use it. All right. So I believe I'm great if I'm a consultant, I'm a farmer, and many things. But I think for the purpose of this class, I'm a farmer, and so it will help to have how long have you been doing your fish farm? What are your challenges? What are your successes? And so that we can all learn, because we are here to learn. Have you?
As I said, my name is Sunday. I go from Onimo.
Okay.
I started this fish farm was 3 years ago.
Right.
But some challenges when I have it. I know foundation capital and money. I do my struggle. Sometimes I need to go do job. You know, fish is not easy business. I didn't know so, but when I stepped into business, I know that this business needs money.
It's not for poor man.
Not for poor man. But I don't do it because I've started it. I say anyhow I must make anyway to get money, go job, you know. So, but first one, you get it done with it. I just do them, try it.
Okay, please give us. I understand, but I want us to learn. That's why we are here.
Yes.
So give us good information. The first one you did, how many fish did you get?
I put 500.
500 pieces of fish.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I went. You know that 8 pound, no.
18 pound.
18 pound.
Okay.
But at the end of it, I see that. I have some more, but not too plenty like that.
How many bags of feed? Can you remember?
Like as what the president can bring now, right now.
Okay, you can't remember for the 500.
First one, just say it's I don't use and do some practical
Experiment.
experiment.
Alright.
This present one I'm doing now.
Yes.
But my brother, let me just call it. That's 500 when I put now. They are eating up just one pack. I just economize at one pack
A week.
So see, it's not easy for me.
How old are they?
Just 4 months and
Ah. All right. Any other thing outside the fact that you didn't have money? Any other challenge that you have had so far? I know it's 18 pounds.
No other challenge.
No other challenge. Just feeding. What about sales? The one you did before, how was the sales?
Now through that one, I use the sponsor insurance.
Okay, the proceed. No, what I want to know is, did you have challenge in marketing?
Marketing, yes. I never connect. I never get connected to.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Go ahead. So you don't have connection with buyers?
But this one is my target is present one. So if you don't do what I need to make
Okay. Let's use you as should I say case study. Your fishes are how many months now? 4 months. Okay. So how big do you want them to get to? The previous one you sold, how did you sell? By kilo?
I tried.
Okay, when you dried them, you didn't wait. So how did you learn about fish farming? How did you learn about fish farming?
I can't just with God grace. I've been somebody where they do. I want to know and then I just for my eye.
Okay.
Then I need to go practice.
Okay.
With faith.
With faith.
It's got the work.
All right, all right. You can sit down. Let me not give you test. Let me not make you test. So why? It's not as I don't know him. Do you know him? It's not as if I want to punish you. That's why I said you should stand up and tell us your experience. Why I asked you to stand is so that we can know, because these are part of what you are supposed to learn. You can know why you are having the challenges you are having, and how you can do it better. How you can do it better. That's the essence. Here, we are not just here for just palliative. We are here to learn. And at the course of the training, you will understand that you will have learned something by coming here. Even if this learning was not your first motive for coming, but you must learn. I will be giving you assignments and you must learn. You are a teacher, so you must learn. Alright, in order to contribute something to your experience, this may be too high, but let's start from where it's high and come low. There's what we call FCR. It's called food conversion ratio. It's called food conversion ratio. So what this means is that if I want 1 kilogram of fish, I should also know how many kilograms of food that will give me 1 kilogram of fish. I believe if you knew this, you will know how to budget your family, how to plan for your family. And I think one or two people also made mention that they are into poultry. You? Any other person? You too, poultry. You came very early. Please don't do that in this Saturday. Thank you. Okay, so 2 people into poultry. This is also applicable for poultry farming. Actually, poultry farming is my first, second, first. After poultry, I went into dog breeding. So, poultry farming was my first. So, it's also important that you have this information. Averagely, you need when I say averagely in every ramification. That is, let's expect that the food you are using is of average standard. That is, it's not very bad and it's not the best. So, average quality of feed, you should use between 1.3 kilogram to 1.4 kilogram of feed or food. Are we together? So with this now, you should be able to calculate and say, if I want 500 kg of fish, or you say half ton, you should be able to know that, because you are still doing small scale farming, that's 500 fishes. But it's a good place, because we are a case study now. It's a good place to illustrate. So if you have, and the minimum for any farmer, at least fish farming, is that at least your fish should hit 1 kg. If you are selling to the pepper soup joint, the restaurant, the people that will do point and kill, barbecue, stuff like that. You should be aiming at 1 kg. So what this means is that 1.3, we have a mathematician here, some people say they are teachers. 1.3 multiplied by 500. What is it going to give us? We are here to learn. I not be comedian. 1.3 multiplied by 500. 650. Is it a unanimous answer? Huh? Hey, this one will be my mic. Oh. I will never chop. 650 kilogram. Okay. Please. And how many kg? Have you bought a bag before? You just bought a bag now for 1 week. How much?
Depends on the product.
And what's the product now?
Sometimes I use Eco.
Okay.
Or kilogram.
So bottom line, you already got what I want. 15 kg, the weight of it. So 650 kg divided by 15 kg will give us what? Let's calculate.
43.3.
For
43.3.
43.3 kg bags. So we can just say 43 bags. Now, the last echo you bought is how much? 10,500. So let's run a small calculation. 10,500 on average. I know they have different stage and all that. So, let's calculate again. What does this come to? 10,500 multiplied by 43 bags. 400,000. 451,500. All right. So this ought to be your budget for feeding, and then at the end of the day, you should have 451,500 for 43 bags averagely. Now, where am I to land now? Okay, this should give us 500 kg of fish. How much is a kg of fish now? You have idea?
Some 3,000, 4,000, 4,000.
A kg of fish? No. No. As a farmer, that's a very wrong answer. Are you buying food stock? Eh? So you see why you are here.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
So averagely, let me just tell you what is obtainable. Averagely, nationwide, I don't know any local place. Nationwide, you have between 1,800 to 2,000 naira per kg. So multiply this by 500 kg. What does it come to?
2,000.
You just use 2,000. Okay, good. Use the 1,800. As a farmer, don't project too high. Go with the minimum. Go with the minimum amount, so that your expectations are not too high. More. So your expectations are not too high. So 1,800. What does it come to? 900. 900,000 naira. Now, bear in mind that this our estimate here is a rough estimate. It's a rough estimate in the sense that the younger the fish, the more expensive the feed. There are some feed that goes as high as 20,000 per bag, 18,000. I'm not acting, I'm telling you. 16,000 per bag at 2 mm. If you are starting with 2 mm size. So it's a good place to start because the topic is about fish farming. You have 2 mm, you have 3 mm, you have 4, you have 6, you have 8. So we just use 10,500 as a flat rate. So obviously, when you get these different sizes, say we have 43 bags. I hope our attentions are here. I will not repeat myself. We have 43 bags. So let's take for example, you have 2 mm, 2 bags. You have 3 mm, 5 bags. You have 4 mm, 10 bags. You have 6 mm, 10 bags. Or let me push that to 15 bags. So this is 30, 32 now. Then we are left with what? 11. So we have 8 mm, 11 bags. If we do this detailed calculation now, you will see that we will not come to 451. Maybe what we'll be coming to, it may get as much as 500 or over 500. If we do that detailed calculation. So what this is coming about is, for example, we have 500 here, and the other costs, the cost of your fish. How much did you get your fish?
When it's smaller.
Yes, the fingerling, juvenile.
This last one,
17 naira per one. So that already tells you there's a fish cost of 35,000. I would say it. Probably you had to do maintenance on the pond. You had to transportation. Of course, even when you go and buy the feeds, you still transport. Then maybe occasionally, depending on how the water flow into the pond, you may need to buy fuel, pump out water, pump in water. If you employ somebody to work for you, maybe you are paying the person 10,000 or 20,000 for maybe 5 months period. So those are costs. Now, the aim of every farmer is to reduce your cost of operation and maximize your profit. The aim is to reduce your cost of operation and maximize profit. So have you learned anything? I can ask questions. We are not here to look at my face. I can ask questions. So what have we learned now? We have learned budgeting. Count your costs before you fly. I'm not sure you anticipated that you will be spending this kind of money to raise 500 fish. You are aware? Okay, the first experience you had, Abi? So this will guide you. Those don't say, ahead of fish farming, very lucrative. If I put in 1 naira, I'll make 3 naira. So you now go, you say, with the burial arrangements in 6 months' time, and that's my house. I need to complete it. My children need to enter higher institution. Let me just put 5,000 fish. Some people expect that when you put fish inside water, once the fish open one mouth like this, drink water, the fish will be okay. That's what some people think. They just think that just open your mouth and everything will be fine. It's not like that. It's not like that. So you need to do proper planning. And all right. So, the business of the day, I hope we have learned something. It's a good place to digress, to brushing ourselves. We are supposed to eventually become
fish farmers at the end of the day. If you don't become a farmer directly, you are supposed to have the knowledge to be able to teach somebody what you have learned. Impact the knowledge, transfer the knowledge to somebody else, and be an eye to somebody who is not seeing as regard fish farming. So, but you will be encouraged by these lectures so that you will now know the better way to go about it. So I would like to do a brief introduction on fish farming. Fish farming is long as what can I use? As long as World War II, 1939 to 1945. As far back as Nigeria is concerned, there was a visibility test that was carried out in Lagos and in Plateau State by, of course, the British government to try out how it would turn out to be. And where we are today, of course, tells us how far that has failed, the success of that feasibility, the success of that test has brought us to where we are today. The fishery sector has been established and contributing a sizable percentage to the GDP of our country. Between 2015 and 2020, there was this ECOWAS Commission report telling us that for the 5 years period where this research was conducted, that we produce as much as 6.8 million tons of fish within 2015 to 2020. So it's a big industry that we are in. Fish farming is not child's play. Very, very lucrative. The demand is increasing on a daily basis. So when you talk about fish farming, you are not afraid of market. There is a ready market for fish farming. What you need to know is the technical know-how of how to go about the business and how well to do it. You have a question, sir? Okay, I think, where's the mic? Just give it to me.
My question is on your food conversion ratio. I want to know how do you go about determining the
factors,
the kg?
Okay.
It's very important so that you know how to measure it, how to convert it.
It's all right. It's okay.
You understand it?
Any other question? Is there any other question? Please, I will take that after my lecture. If you have a question, just put it down. You don't have to break me while I'm talking. Just write it down, and then when I'm done, we'll take it. Please. And those of us that came very early, please don't try it next Saturday. I'll lock my door. Thank you. So, as I was saying, the Commission gave this estimate, 6.8 million tons, produced in Nigeria, both from the wild and industries, commercial, of course, farmers. Within a period of 5 years, this was given 2015 to 2020. Well, I want to shock you and tell you that currently, as at June 2022, the current annual requirement for fish that we need in Nigeria annually is 3.6 million tons, and it's growing. What are we producing currently? We are producing about 1.5 million tons. That's what we are producing. So you see that there's still a huge gap, just double the gap. How do we feed into this gap? Importations. Now we can reduce reliance on importation as much as 80% if we can increase our production from where it is now to what the demand is. You know, for me personally, when I want to go into any form of business, what I bring to bear is there market available? It doesn't make sense when you go and source for capital and then you put it into a business that you are not sure of how these products or goods and services are going to be sold. Then your money is as good as putting it in the bank because you are wondering. So my first decision is there a market for this product? If there is no market, do I have to create the market? Because you may have a very fantastic idea, but that product is not known. So what do? You have to develop a scheme, your strategy to sell that product first before plunging into the product. You don't go and get a product and now start looking. No, because if that product is to expire, you are running out of time. So what is key is get the market first, and this can vary. You may think that okay, you already told us that there's market. Why are you stressing this thing? No, I will stress it because it's important. Where I stay can vary from where you stay. The cost of fish, the demand. This demand is not in Obia. Where are we, Umuna? This 3.6 million tons that is required is not from Umuna alone. I know they eat fish here. No, they have not given me any since I came. But this demand is not in Umuna. So you must understand your location. You must understand what prevails in that location. There are different sizes of fish. There are different types of fish. There are different maturity stage of fish. So the particular area you are, what stage, what maturity stage do they need? Let me give you an example. If you are staying around a school environment, you don't need big fishes because the students cannot afford it. Are we listening? We don't need big fishes. We have these challenges. You know, you are all farmers here, potentially. Eventually, as consultants, when we establish farms for farmers, and I say, this one that we are establishing for me now, one of the reasons why I called you is so that when we finish establishing it, you help us to sell it. Nobody from here should come here. I want to sell fish. Know what your environment needs and produce it for them. Don't produce what you want to transport to Abuja in Umuna. Your transportation costs, thanks to Tinubu, we already take away all your profit at the moment. So you don't need that. Know what your environment wants and give them what you want. Now, part of my introduction is okay, that's like later. Just saying is that your environment, for example, your environment, what do they need exactly? Are you starting business for hobby or you are for business? Because you could just, like he said, experiment. That was what he started with. So he started with experiment. Well, it's permissible because it's an experiment. You will not expect so much from an experiment. Do you understand? Now I've met clients. I'm not giving you story. I've been doing farming, fish precisely, for almost more than 20 years. So I'm not telling you what somebody told me. I'm telling you firsthand. I've met a client. So at that time, 79 years old. And what he told me was that this is Benin City. And what he told me was that, my doctor said I should be coming out in the morning to look, feed my eyes. So that's why we are doing all this. Hello? That's his purpose. That's his purpose. So know your purpose. That will guide your activities. And I came in and I said, old man, yes, I understand. Thank you for being honest. But if you want me here, we must do commercial. Yeah, you can't keep me for hobby because when I bring my bill, you can't pay. You may even have the money, but you will not justify it. You say, why should I pay you so much? I just need to come out in the morning and look around and go inside. Do I have to pay so much to do that? Do you understand? So what is your purpose of doing any business? What is your purpose of going into fish farming? Do you want to experiment? Do you want to learn? Are you doing research? Or you just like fish? Or it's for your personal consumption? You just want to stop buying fish from the market and be able to come and brag to your friends that if you need fish, come to my house, man, I got fish here. You know. So the decisions you are going to take is not going to be the same. That's the point I'm driving at. The way and manner you will go about that business is not going to be the same with somebody who wants to go commercial. For example, no offense, my brother. 500 fishes is not commercial. Now, this is specific to some areas. In Benin, for example, Benin City, if you call some buyers, there are some buyers that you will call. They ask you, how many fishes do you have? And you say 500, they will delete your number. You know why? They will delete your number because what they buy every time they go to market to buy fish, they buy as much as 3,000 pieces of fish. So they won't waste their resources, their time that is precious. Come to your farm for 500 and go to another farm for 500. Maybe go to another one for 1,000. Go to another one for no. Their bills are piling. And what is important is reducing your cost of operating and maximizing profit. So I rather call a farmer who say he has 10,000 fishes. I know that no matter how, I will get more than enough that I want. Do we understand? So this influences our decisions. For example, the kind of pond you want to put for your business. You should also determine it by knowing first what is your purpose for going into fish farming. If you want to do experiments, you can do something very. I know a lot of students who started fish farming from a drum, 200 liters of drum. Some experiment. Some, let me get used to it too, so that when that big money my uncle promised me comes, I will know how to handle the fish. But you can't say you want to do commercial farming and you go and buy drums. You go and buy drums. My friend raised 50 fish with one drum. So if I want to raise 10,000, you now divide it and say, I need 500 drums. You can see that there's a problem fundamentally. So this will help us. What is our purpose? Why are we going into what we are doing? That helps us to know how to go about everything we are doing. Sales, the type that they need in the area. Like I said, student areas, they need smaller sizes of fish. Of course, we all know students have a larger percentage of students have little money with them for feeding. So they go for the cheapest source of protein. They go for the cheapest. And fish farming is that area. Is one of the cheapest source of protein in our diet. For me, it's the cheapest. It's the cheapest. So they buy 500 grams, 700 grams, some as small as 300 grams fish, just so that in the concoction rice, there is something. But laughing, I'm telling you true reality. You know, so that there is something. Let there be a bus stop and a full stop and comma and question mark when they are picking the rice. That's what they need. And so if you are in that environment, you not start raising fish for 6 months, 7 months, and you expect them to come and buy. The buyers will not come from there. They will come from far. They will come from far. It will take you long time to sell. Take a long time to sell. So I've given us one or two information just to introduce us to what we are in, and I believe I've covered briefly what I want to go into. So let me go into the fundamentals properly. And one of the things we'll be looking at, number one, is species selection. Also, catfish is the most consumed fish in Nigeria. Catfish is the most consumed fish in Nigeria. So when we talk about species selection, we need to know what are the species that are available to us that we need to get available, because of course there are different types of species. There are different types of species. So you have catfish, popularly called Clarus garapinos, botanical name. You have tilapia, newly introduced now. We have pangasius, we have rahu, we have Nile, just to mention about a few. And even in catfish, there are different species too. The Clarus family, you have the hybrid, you have the heterobranchus breed, a mixture of different species to come about the same way. Now, what should play is, so you can put all these things together now. All these factors I've mentioned are important. There's no one that's not relevant. For example, your location also. What do they need in your location? If they need, like in Ibadan, for example, Ibadan, see, they like heterobranchus fish. It's also a species of catfish, or kind of an hybrid. They like it why? Because it has a big head. It has a flat and big head. And it's more muddy than the Clarus Holland species. So, if you are in Ibadan now and you go and start buying another species that they are not used to, you are going to have a problem selling them. So, predominantly, we have just catfish as established species that we can thrive with in Nigeria generally because of our tropical environment, our temperature, water quality, and all of that. So we have that, and that will be that for the species. So catfish generally will go any day, anytime. It will go, you almost cannot get it wrong. Stocking catfish, you almost cannot get it wrong. Secondly, let me look at something else. fundamentals too. And also, I forgot to mention earlier, aquaculture itself is a broader spectrum when you are talking about aquatic organisms. But we are concentrating on fish because if I start calling names of other aquatic organisms, I'm not even sure some of us are dead. You have molluscs, you have crustaceans, you have other aquatic beings, but majorly it's fish that we all deal with. Fish. So that's why we are narrowing it to fish farming, which is basically about breeding, rearing, and harvesting. Breeding, rearing, and harvesting. So let's talk about site selection. Number 2, site selection. Site selection. First of all, what you need to look at in your site is accessibility. Accessibility for your buyers. Market again. Accessibility for your buyers. Will they have good road to the farm? Number 2, you can also look at where you want to choose for your farming. Is there good water in that location? The kind of water I need for this species of fish I want to culture, I want to rear. Do I have the water that is required? You know, you may just look at water as, is it not just water? But it's not so. When I was in Guinea Conakry, I went to establish a farm there. The farm location was basically filled with iron ore. So you pump water from their borehole to the pond. I built concrete ponds there. And as you are pumping it, the color of the water already tinted something yellow, close to red. That's iron ore in the water. You have hardness. The water is very hard. The water components that they have there is hard. So water is important because the fish is going to live in water. If their water is not conducive, then you start having problems. You say, hey, he told you this man has bad fish. It's not true. It's not bad fish. It's the environment you have put your fish into that is bad. So you have to take out a study to find out whether the temperature of the water in that environment is conducive for your fish. Then you may also have good water, but like I'm observing here, you cannot access the water. For example, if you want to drill a borehole here, is a problem. Are you aware? So you have to also ask where this location is there boreholes around? Functional one, or not we built before. I mean we drilled before. Hello. Functional borehole. Can we get, if we drill a borehole here, can we get water? Not just to be accessible to the farmers alone. Can we get good source of water from borehole? Because usually, mostly the source of water is borehole in Nigeria. Mostly borehole. You can take from streams, you can take from rivers. There are some exceptional places that you have very clean water. But mostly, to take the statistics, you will know that it is borehole that predominantly provides water. So, can you, it's not everywhere there is ground, there is water. So, you can, if we drill here, can we get good water? Now, the water may be good, but it may not be sufficient. You can only get 1,000 liters for a day. You can't do that one with fish farming. You need enough water. Enough water. And it will not be good that you don't take these precautions and you now start experiencing what we call reinventing the wheel. problems people have had, you now want to have your own personal one of the same problem other people have had because you didn't take into consideration what they went through. That's why I asked him to share his experience with us. What they went through, so you don't repeat the same mistakes. So these things I'm saying is very key. Is very, very key. Can you get borehole? Can you get good source? Enough water, quality and quantity. Quality and quantity. So that also include considering whether the water is also conducive for the fish you want to rear. So maybe you find out in the vicinity that is there anybody rearing fish here, and how is their water? Are they having any challenges? So that just tells you, because if a fish farm is succeeding in the area, it means that your own will succeed. It means your own will succeed. So I already mentioned this earlier, but I'll just go over it again a little more depth. Stocking and nutrition. Stocking and nutrition. Stocking means there is, for every space, there is a required amount of fish that's supposed to occupy that space. And if you want to do jamboree, you want to do miracle, the fish will help you because they will reduce their number to the space that is supposed to be here for them. Is that strange to anybody here? Of course, it's supposed to be strange. For example, a drum that is supposed to take 50 fishes, you go and put 200 inside. As they are growing, they will be reducing their number. Technically, by cannibalizing. So that they can survive. They are fighting for survival. So they will kill each other to survive. It happens real life in prisons too. I don't know if in Nigeria, but I know it happens in places where they are already overpopulated and they have to help themselves to survive. So that is for stocking. Maybe when we have questions, I can elaborate on that. There are standards per square meter, per number of fish that you are supposed to have and all that. But I don't want to just give you theory, because it doesn't always work. Now, I can give you an illustration now, and at the end of the day, when you go and put, oh, he said you should do like this, when you now do it, you also not remember that there's also a factor to stocking, which is water. What system are you using for your water? What water system are you using for your fish? Do they have clean water 24/7? Or you operate what is predominantly existing in Nigeria as a stagnant system, whereby it is only when the water gets dirty that you renew it. If you are running that kind of system, you should know that you will now tailor your stocking to the kind of system you are running. So it's not one size fits all. You have to tailor your own family to the systems that are available to you particularly. Because the system you have, he may have 18 pump, madam on this hand may have fiber pump. It's not the same thing. Our reverend here may have concrete pump. Of course, different dimensions and all that. So if I say, oh, you are putting 500, madam, did you hear him? Put 1,000 or put 500. Okay, put 500. No. We have to know the conditions that is peculiar to you. In netting pond, for example, if it is a good pond, you may not change water all the time. I'm just being light. You could stay 1 month without changing water. Try it in fiber pond. Try it in concrete pond. Don't lose me. Be your peace. So now let me move to nutrition. Nutrition is talking about for catfish. Catfish are more proteinous. They are more of the protein in their diet. What this means is that they require more protein when they are growing than when they are maturing. Of course, for every organism. But for catfish, as high as 45% crude protein is required of them. So if you give any diet that is less, if you give any diet that is less than this when they are starting out, you know that you are already contributing to the sad story when you are harvesting. Is that understood? You are already contributing to the sad story. Hey, my fish is not growing. It's only head, oh, you will start complaining. Why? Because you have violated some rules that you ought to follow. They need protein. They need protein. So 45% crude protein minimum is what they require when they are starting out. And then as they progress, they reduce. But minimum, I think, okay, do you know what your EcoFloat is? The protein content of your EcoFloat? No. EcoFloat is between 35 to 38% crude protein. How many mm are you using now? 9 mm, okay. They will not put more than this. If you get to check, I will ask you next Saturday. They will not put more than that for 9 mm. I'm just being magnanimous. It could even be less. They could drop it because of cost and everything, and they could even drop it to 30. You know, because they are at that stage, they expect that they have already gotten all the required protein they need, and they can now reduce it to reduce costs. But I'm not of that school of thought, because if I give you a bowl of eba to eat, in the next 5, 10, 1 hour, 2 hours, depending on your system, you will be hungry. But if I just give you a morsel of chicken to eat, you will not get fast as hungry as you would, because carbohydrates will burn out faster than protein. And you don't require a big bowl of eba. You just require just a small piece and you'll be fine. So as we progress, you guys will see what that means for your nutrition. So you have to put that into consideration. The fish, for example, let's say it's not catfish. Let's say it's tilapia that you are doing maybe for some other purpose, whatever. Tilapia. Tilapia does not need as much high protein as catfish. They are more of herbivorous animals or fishes. They don't need as high as this. This is exclusively for catfish. Another, I think catfish is the highest. Other fishes don't require this high protein, but catfish needs it. And so, when you feed them with more protein-packed food, you now experience what market women will say, Oga, now so you take feed this food. The scale, it just they go, and the fish don't be. You will hear that, and that is because you are giving them more proteinous food than carbohydrates. This is also a bad market for what do you call them? Eco floats. Eco float. Most of their feeds are very low in protein content, and that's why it's cheap. When something is cheap, you have to use your second eye to look, because there's something behind that cheap thing. The person should be able to explain to you why is it cheap. Is it because that's what we can, we are making what we can afford, or you have the heart of the masses in view? So you are trying to be humanitarian, you are trying to contribute to the society. Are we together? I'll put up my fan soon. Some of you are sleeping. All right. So I will advise you. So another assignment I'm giving you now is take 10 pieces of your fish, and tell us, do you have a scale? Scale. You don't have a scale. Scale. Yes. You don't have. You have not bought. Okay. So let's see. So I have this in the back. Check the smaller one. So get a farmer, somebody around who has a scale. Take 10 pieces of fish and weigh them, and bring the results next Saturday. Then I will tell you the progress that your fish is making and the necessary thing you should do. But after that eco float finishes, don't buy eco float again for now. And they are not supposed to be eating 9 mm. It's too early. You know, we have this school of thoughts for farmers. We believe that the bigger the pellets, the less the fish you eat. It's a lie. It's a lie. White lie. It's not true. So change that eco float. And 9 mm is too big. 9 mm is for brood stock. 9 mm is for brood stock. So change that. Don't give them 9 mm again. You are not even helping the fish.
You don't reach 1 month, you are.
I know you are forcing them to eat, and they don't have choice. They are in captivity. What do you expect? You want them to come out and slap you? They will eat what you are giving to them. Okay, let me do this. One or two more. Disease. And treatment. So for me, what strikes me more is prevention. It's better to prevent the cause than to start treating it. It's better to prevent a cause than to start treating it. What are the factors that causes breakdown of their immune system? What brings about diseases in fish farming? So if we know what to avoid, I think we will do better than having a problem at our hand and now running helter-skelter on how to go about it. So one of the factors that we should look at when it comes to disease in fish farming is water. You know, they live all their life is inside that water. So before anything happens, water, that environment where they are staying, is a factor. How clean is your water? How clean is your water? That's number one. How clean is your water? Some people will tell you, "Oga, my water don dey smell o. I see fish dey hang for up. E dey hang for up. One come dey float. I don comot two when die." Before they know that they supposed to change water for fish. Are you serious? The rule is that if you can dip, are we saying now? Please, let's look up. The rule is that if you can dip from your fingertip to your elbow into your water and you cannot see the tip of your finger, you should change the water. Of course, you will not follow that rule, Abi. And when problem comes, you start calling pastor. I feel they died, I don't follow. I should come again. The rule of thumb is that when you dip your hand into the pond up to your elbow length level and you cannot see the tip of your finger inside the water, it means that you are supposed to change the water. Now that is just telling you that there's a level that you cannot see inside your water. You may not do 100% change. Drop it, say 50%, and fill it up. That depends on how bad your water has gone. If it is very bad, you have to take it out 99.9% and refill it. If you waited that bad before you changed it. But if you cannot see, this is 1.5 feet. If you cannot see 1.5 feet into the water, you are supposed to renew the water. Whether 25%, whether 50%, whether 75%, whether 100%. Do we understand? So outside water, there's another factor we can look at. Predators. 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 Number one, predators are wide. First of all, when you talk about predators, you also want to talk about biosecurity first in your farm environment. Biosecurity, maybe you have other farms in the same compound and you have poultry workers coming into your fish farm. There's one funny thing they do. Some of them will come to fish farm inside the pond to wash hand. Don't shake your head, it's what is happening, I'm telling you. You just come there. Hello? They have used fish water to wash hand. And who knows what he just touched or what he has been doing with his hands before coming to wash his hand inside the pond. Some are not washing hands. Let's put the water, put this fish there. Just plain. The problem with that is, what have you touched? How clean is your hands? And it also goes by the stage the fishes are in. What stage are these fishes? You may do it, you may be surprised that you have been doing it, nothing happened. Maybe that breed or that stock you got have very good immune system. And maybe you just tried it with another set and you see that problem started. You say, I can't make it. You will even think of your hand inside the water. How can that be a problem? This is not the first time. Even if I now come there and say, did anybody told this water? I say, how can you be asking that question? They touch water normal. That's not something new. But because the breed you had, maybe you started with, you were very strong. So their immune system didn't break down. They could handle it. Now you continue the practice, thinking that it worked one, it will happen again, no problem. And then this other stock, their gene is not as good as the other one, or their immune system is not as good as the other one, and then there is a breakdown, and then you have problem in the hands. So fish start dying. The bad part is that you will not know what caused the death. So you start giving unnecessary treatment because you don't have proper diagnosis of what has occurred. So you start, run to pharmacy, buy me that red and yellow capsule, because I clean. let me, mix, right? This is, pour am for the water, they will stop. Because you don't know the extent of the damage, you will not even know the actual treatment and the dosage of the treatment to give. So, biosecurity, we advise that your farm should be within a protected environment, controlled environment. In other words, it should be not where anybody can just stumble into and stumble out. There should be some restriction on the environment, so as to be able to determine what is going on there. Then we could have an unfortunate situation. A bird that is coming from an infected farm that has picked dead fish. If it's what we call kingfisher, it has entered the pond, even baited inside, picked 1 or 2 fish, then discover that there's a fish farm here too, and your water is cleaner, decide to take a shower. You know, decides to take a shower, and then there's problem. Now, this may not bring about problem if you are maintaining good water management. But you will all agree with me that any healthy, no matter how healthy you are prone to breakdown when you are stressed. Of course, in everybody here, there's an atom of malaria symptom in everybody. But you will not come down with malaria until you are stressed, seriously stressed. Now that depends on the level of malaria in your system. Now determine how stressed you need to be for you to come down with malaria. So, in other words, your fish may be fine. Maybe the bird has been coming severally, no problem. The bird used to come and go now, no problem. But this particular day, your water has been smelling. Your fish are begging for survival. Oh, maybe not your fault. NEPA was supposed to come, or your transformer exploded while you put on the gen. The fuse went out, you called, bomb, or fuel ran out. One thing while you were changing water, or you were planning to change the water. So you had delays. And then that thing just happened. And then normal, maybe within the next 1 hour, you're able to rectify the issue. And you change water. And you fill it up back. Unknown to you that the damage has been done, even before you change the water. And because they are microorganisms, your fish are already infected. And so you now start running to the vet shop. Hey, my fish are dying. I don't know what is wrong. I don't know. The water was dirty. I changed the water. I've been doing it like this before. Nothing happened. That thing that does not happen, I'm telling you how it happens now. So when you want to just do farm, you don't just say, just do them there, you just don't do it anyhow. If you do it anyhow, you will what? You will do it anyhow. Now, of course, there are some, what we say, prophylaxis, preventive treatment, then curative treatment. I've mentioned 2 types now, preventive and curative. So, for example, you are preventing treatment, it means that you do what we call anti-stress from time to time. You do what we call anti-stress from time to time. Maybe you just perceive that your fishes could be stressed. So you just apply some anti-stress to them. Without them, no mortality, no death. You are just taking precaution. So you do that, and then you get the situation stable as a practice, not because something else happened. As a practice, you do that. But for me, I rather have a clean. Many times, I have raised fish and took them to the market without spending 5 naira on treatment. It's not like poultry, where you have to give periodic treatment, periodic vaccine, periodic multivitamin and all that and all that. Fish is not like that. You can go through it all through. It maybe just a bag of salt if necessary, or nothing at all. Or you spend so much. And one thing for fish, when the reggae starts, they play for long. It plays for long. Once the reggae has started, you see they know the pay off. You will see mortalities rolling as if you are doing harvest before you can salvage the situation. So it is better not to have it started in the first place than trying to remedy it. For example, imagine treating fish for 7 days. Maybe first day you had 50 mortality. Second day you had 150. Before you knew that something serious was happening. Then the third day you started treatment. And when you started the treatment, you did it wrongly. You now had 200. Is the reggae music not increasing? You know, so let me also give you this expo. One of the things you should do when you come into such situation is stop feeding your fish. Stop feeding your fish. If your fish is having issue, they are dying, they are stressed, how well can you really eat when you are stressed? How well? I'm not saying stress that you went to work and came back. That's not stress for you. You know, that's not stress. That's that you are tired. And you need to eat. Maybe even food is part of why you are tired. So. You know. So when you are having issue, when I mean you are having issue, you are having mortalities. There is death rate. Fishes are dying. One of the first treatment is what? Starvation. Don't feed your fish. This simple thing I just said can even save you money of drugs. One of the first thing is starve them, stop feeding. They will not die from starving, but they will die from adding poisoning, because as at that time, it is now poisoning you are adding to the water. If the fishes are not feeling well and you are adding food, the ones that are still strong will eat the food and break down from the bacterial infection or viral infection that they now have. So, to help those ones that are still very strong, stop your feeding. That will help the strong ones and help the ones that are a little bit weak. Stop feeding and ensure clean water. These are just normal things that you can just do at no cost. Stop feeding, because that your food is even waste of money as at that time. It will not add up. Another thing you can do, depending on the degree of issue you have, is to also isolate. You can, it's not in every case, but you can also, depending on the kind of issue you are having, if it is bacterial infection, you can isolate, pick out the affected ones and isolate them. Then treat them from another pond and now give preventive treatment to the ones that have not been infected. Alright, I think I've done enough for disease and treatment. Of course, that's the whole topic for the whole day, so I don't expect to run it all through. So I hope we are jotting our questions, because we'll soon be there. Okay, I made mention of harvesting and processing. My last. last topic for fundamentals of aquaculture in Nigeria. So, harvesting and processing. Harvesting depends on your goal. Everything is centered around a purpose. Everything is centered around a purpose. Why do you want to harvest your fish as at the time when you want to harvest it? Are they big enough for the market that you have? Have they gotten, what's your feeding budget for your fish? Are you on a budget and you plan to feed them 500 grams per fish, and then you are left with 2 bags to go, and you need to start talking to the market women to come and buy. So that's also a factor to consider. Or your environment where you are, that is the size of fishes that you buy. If it is bigger, you are going to have problems, or you have to source for other buyers. So, harvesting. And when it comes to harvesting, what are the tools that we use for harvesting? For example, the tools you will use when you have earthen pump, like my brother has, it's not the same you will use when the person who has concrete pump. It's not the same you will use when the person who has fiber pump, or who has plastic pump, or who has collapsible pump. So, it is tailor-made. Your operational system will determine the tools that you use for harvesting. Having said that, it is also important when you want to sell your fish to start them a day two. For example, today is Saturday. If your market women are coming tomorrow morning, Sunday, you can feed them lightly this morning and make sure you don't feed them in the evening. Because anytime you tend to handle fish, you take them out of water and they were not long recently fed, they will vomit, they will throw up their food. They will throw up their food. And if they are transporting them from point A to point B, that food will contribute stress factor to the fishes, because they are going to be compacted into a smaller space, and their chances of survival will diminish when they have not been starved. You see, market women will ask you, okay, your fish, you don't feed them. If you say yes, that market woman is not coming. She'll tell you next time when you want to sell, don't feed your fish. You know, funny enough, some people do it thinking that the fish will be very heavy that morning, so they want to cash out. That's not there. They want to cash out that morning. So what them? Some will even not feed. Maybe they have not been feeding well for the past 1 week. They now told them that market woman is coming tomorrow morning. Hey. That night and that morning, they will borrow money. They will feed the fish. See, you are wasting your time. Fish does not gather weight like that. The way fish gathers weight is a little here, a little here, a little here, a little here. That's what will add up for them. That food that they want to eat now, or within 24 hours, will not contribute anything to what the weight you are looking for. So you better do your planning well before your fishes start getting hungry. That's why I say harvesting. Before they start getting hungry and starving, and you know, I cannot get money again. Let me say, don't wait, because every day that you starve them as a result of not having food, their weight, they are taken from their reserve to survive. So they are drawing from their reserve, and that diminishes their weight. So processing, you have different types of processing. Of course, the general one is drying. You can dry through whatever process, electric oven, smoking kiln, whatever drying process. But also, what is your goal for processing? For example, there was a time I was sending catfish to UK, Italy, and all that. But why I was doing that, I had a particular customer who needed it, and it was dried with a specific machine. We used electricity because we wanted to experiment anything that could be cancerous, to take it away from the equation. And because of the international body that it was going to, we want to make sure that if they put it through their process of test, it will not be returned. So we did that for that purpose. But of course, you agree that locally, people like that smell, that aroma that comes from your charcoal or your firewood or anything smoke. People like it. So, what else do I want to say about processing? You have fillets, where you take out the bones. Where you take out the bones from the fish, and it's just flesh, no bones attached. That comes with a price. It's pricey. So that is that. Well, I think we can put our questions together now and start having our questions. Thank you for listening, and please, those of us that came very early, let's ensure we adjust our timetable for next Saturday. Come with an ID card holder, a small passport photograph, and I think that should do. And it's 9 o'clock. It's not 11, it's not 10. Thank you. So please, those who have questions, the mic is there, you can put it around. I know I have a pending question, so I will attend to it. But let's hear the questions that we have now. Thank you. I already said that the tools differ. Can somebody answer that question for me? Because I answered it. I said the tools differ for individual pond system. For example, you are using, like for his case now, earthen pond. We use what we call drag net that has floaters and has sinkers for earthen pond. That's not what you will use for fiber pond. That's not what you will use for concrete pond. That's not what you will use for collapsible pond. Although you can use, but you are using the wrong tool. Do you understand? Then there are these modern hand harvesters that they make now. Okay, you have one. Let me just put a drawing. Something like this. And the handle with nets. With nets. Welcome. Please take a seat. Welcome, sirs. So you have something like this that has net. This tool is popularly used for your fiber pond. And for example, when you are having like a situation where you need to isolate, can I have your attention, please? Let's not be distracted. Thank you. A situation where you have a case where you need to isolate. A case where you need to isolate. Are you with me? You can use this. And explaining further, the tool, for example, when you are isolating for disease, where you are having an issue in your farm and you need to isolate, the tool you will use for isolation, you have to disinfect it. Hello? You have to disinfect it. And you don't pick out from a pond that has issue and now go and use that tube for a pond that does not have issue, you have transferred the problem. There's a topic we will go into subsequently that will talk completely about diseases. Do you understand? So I will break down those explanations. I will break down those explanations. But I believe you understand what I'm saying. The normal tool you use when you want to make sales is also different when you are trying to do what we call, for example, grading and sorting. The net you use for grading and sorting is not the same net you use when you want to make sales. Because when you are making sales, you are vesting 500 fishes at a time. But when you are doing sorting, maybe you are just taking, like the assignment I gave you, you are just taking 10 fishes. So the size of the net is different for each one. I understand that the representative for our senator is here. She's great. Please can we stand up and put a round of applause for him? I welcome you for sponsoring this program and their contribution. You are welcome, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Please be seated.
Make mention of isolation. So I'm trying to understand, how do you identify the infected fishes to be able to isolate them?
Okay. It's not in every case that you do isolation. But when we say bacterial infection, it means that you can see it from the body of the fish. For example, normally your fish should look like this, but you now discover that you have this is called whiskers. You now discover that it's usually erect, but it's now halfway. That is a sign that there is a problem. Or you can see breakage and you can see blood. It shows that there's an issue. That's one. Two, you can also see patches, white patches around the skin of the fish. That is another. Three, the tail area. You can see that some part has been cut off as a result of the infection. The infection has eaten so much that it, as a sign of infection, the fish has a way of putting a message to you. In case the window you are having issue, just draw the window. I think we'll be fine. You can close the window. So you will start seeing breakages from the tail or any affected area. Then in the mouth region, you will see what we call blisters. That is not usually the case. Are you with me? You will see blisters. You will see some unusual breakages around the mouth region. Yeah. So that will give you a sign that something is wrong. Secondly, swimming pattern. Are you with me? Swimming pattern. There is a way your fish usually swims. Horizontally. But when your fishes start having issue, you will see that they are gasping for air vertically. You understand? You should pay observe. You should pay attention and observe exactly what is happening. Then you can now start isolating those ones that are giving you such information. So does that answer your question? Any other one? Okay, 1, 2. Let me just raise your hand so I can just count and know how many questions we have. 1, 2, 3. You have, is it in addition to the one you have before? 4. So 1 to 4. Okay, let me pray for your indulgence. The senator representative has an event, so let's allow him make his address and then we'll continue with the questions. Thank you, sir. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. There was people when I came in here and saw you with your students at the place, I was highly impressed. But what I had in mind before coming isn't what I have seen. I am impressed with what I have seen so far. Keep it up. I also want to advise, because of your teaching, please mix your English with speaking English. I know you are not of video extraction. But if you are, mix it with it so that the message will go down where we can. There was, because I have an empowerment program in Himemba now, National Open University right there. Therefore, I want to come. I take few minutes of their time. Still, I have one, the teacher continues with the lecture. Because the essence of this is exactly what they do. And I would appreciate it if you pay attention to what they do so that you will understand it at the end of this training. So that when you begin your own, you know how to manage it. Because this program is being sponsored by our senator, is a good senator, Patrick University, the senator representing Imo North slash of Ibezo. For those of you who are more with it here, I have also represented the Cuba at the State House of Assembly. There was. Because let us do accreditation. Let me know those who are here.
No, the one I came with, I have to put for that. No particular order, just a mere I'm talking to this Alabama. Obike Onye. President outside and president inside. And the one Grace Okoro. Iwa Buchenasa. Iwa Buchenasa. Innocent Obubike. Victor Oluebu.